If you've been sued by Strike 3 in Florida, and yet you live in a different state, you may be wondering why it is that Strike 3 would have sued you for copyright infringement of pornographic material if you don't live in that state. We were also wondering the same thing. Having represented hundreds of clients over the past several years, we started to see an uptick in cases that were filed in Florida by Strike 3, which is one of the plaintiffs that we've dealt with on many occasions. When we dug a little deeper, we determined that there's a very specific reason that they're doing that. What Strike 3 does is they file an action for what's called pure bill of discovery, an action whose sole purpose is to discover the information of potential defendants in a copyright infringement lawsuit. So unlike the typical path where a rights holder may discover that a person behind an IP address may have infringed and downloaded their material illegally, file the federal lawsuit, serve a subpoena on the internet service provider, and try to obtain their information that way, they sue a mass of people, sometimes hundreds of people at a time, in Florida, bring an action for pure bill of discovery, and try to get the would-be defendant's name and information that way. This is a significant cost savings for them, because otherwise they have to file an individual lawsuit against each person and incur a separate filing fee. But once they have the person's information, then they can do some digging and try to find out whether the person has assets, whether the person is going to be worthwhile pursuing in this copyright infringement lawsuit. Now, some lawyers have steered their clients in the wrong direction because what they've done is they've opposed those lawsuits in Florida. They have filed motions to try to quash them, but unfortunately, as a result, oftentimes they've been forced to disclose their clients' information, which was Strike 3's objective to begin with. So, although many attorneys have made valiant attempts to try to oppose these lawsuits, even if those lawsuits were successful, but Strike 3 already satisfied their objective and obtained the person's information, and so they were able to go and file against the relevant parties in federal court. So when faced with a lawsuit that's been filed in Florida for pure bill of discovery, you may be tempted to contact a Florida attorney to try to oppose the lawsuit. But in that event, you may end up hurting yourself more financially because you're hiring a lawyer to oppose it, and you may lose that case, or your identity may be disclosed anyway, and then you're going to have to spend additional attorney's fees in order to head off the ultimate case that's going to be filed against you in federal court in the state in which you live. So our advice is that if you're facing a lawsuit in district court in Florida for copyright infringement, instead of hiring a lawyer in Florida to oppose it, or instead of just letting it go, you should contact us immediately. And the reason for that is, the earlier on that we can contact the plaintiff and negotiate a settlement, the better. Firstly, you're going to save yourself legal fees. Secondly, you're going to save them legal fees, because the more legal work that they have to perform, whether it be in Florida first, subsequently by filing a federal action in a different state, the more money they're going to expect out of you in terms of the ultimate settlement. Make no mistake, copyright infringement is very, very serious. Ultimately, for intentional infringements, if you were to be sued in federal court, you could be liable for up to $150,000 per work. So you can do the math and figure out how much money you might be on the hook for if you infringe multiple times, which is really the average case. So by contacting us earlier on in the process, we can contact the plaintiff once we're hired, we can negotiate a settlement with them, and truly the earlier the better in terms of settlement amounts. That's been our experience, and we look forward to assisting you at your earliest convenience.